Unless you have been hiding under a rock the past 8 months, you've probably heard about a little game called Black Myth Wukong. You know, the game that sold more copies than the Wii U sold systems, the poster child for the 5090 graphics card that's going to be harder to find than a PS5 was back in 2021. Yeah, we all know it, but do you know everything you need to know in order to get the Platinum Trophy? Well, that's why I'm here today. Across the span of multiple videos, I will be documenting all you need to do in order to obtain this game's coveted plat. I will be attempting to cover this in a similar fashion to my Liza P Platinum Guide, but with one major difference. The biggest piece of feedback I got by far with that video was not having it be one gigantic feature film. So I will be covering the game across several different videos for easier consumption, which will work out great for this game because it's broken up by very distinct chapters. Each video is going to cover each chapter. There might be a couple that need two, but we will see how that goes. For all of them, I will show each plant with their corresponding pickups for collecting them, along with all gourds, soaks, and drinks, all spirits, spells, transformations, weapons, and all 100 million bosses that this game has. What this guide will not be, I will not be calling out or explicitly showing the coffins or chests in this game. The only time I do is if they contain a collectible tied to a trophy. Otherwise, I won't cover it. I do implore you though to venture out and explore the environments yourselves, as this game definitely rewards covering all the ground this game has to offer. I also will not be providing strategies for the bosses, bar a small handful. For the weapons and armor, there's only a couple you have to go out of your way to get, but all the other weapons, along with all the armor, will become available to you as you progress through the game. You just need to worry about having enough material, but if you follow these videos and explore all the chapters thoroughly, you'll have enough to craft anything without having to do really any farming. And lastly, with the plants, when I come across a new plant for the first time, I will mention what you need to pull from each one, and I will show a short clip of me obtaining it so that you can have a visual confirmation. But they are all RNG based, so where I get the drops will differ from where you will get them most likely. So you better start praying you get all of them in one playthrough. Okay, I think that covers everything. Let's start our journey. The game starts you off as the main man Wukong himself, and he has himself a sick rap battle with Erlang Shen amongst a crowd of cronies from the Celestial Court. The game's tutorial takes place as a boss battle against Erlang, and it gives you a chance to get familiar with basic attacks, a few spells, and the general feel of the game. When the fight ends, you'll have another long cutscene to watch with Wukong getting a wicked bad migraine, and then Erlang turns him into a giant stone or something. We then get shown our new protagonist for the game, and after the cutscene ends, we get our first trophy, Home is Behind. Well, we're supposed to get it here, but for some reason, I had the setting enabled on my PS5 to not show trophy notifications, so that's why you don't see it here. Off to a fantastic start, but here's the trophy icon anyways. Chapter 1 begins, and not too long into it, we run into our first plant, Aged Ginseng. For this plant, you are looking to get the Steel Ginseng Soak, which I get here, and the seed for this plant and its sister plant, Millennium Ginseng, are actually tied to a boss that will be covered in a later video. After activating the first shrine, if you were a fancy pants and got the deluxe edition of the game, you can grab the Folk Opera Armor Set, Bronze Cloud Staff, and Wind Chime Curio. You can also grab the Opulence Armor Set as well, as that was just given to everybody as part of an update. But please know that none of these items I just said are required for any trophy. But if you do have them, definitely use them because it's better than the base gear that you have currently. As you explore the nearby creek, you'll come across another plant for the first time, Purple Lingxi. The seed for this plant, along with its sister plant, the 9-capped Lingxi seed, are also attached to a boss in another later chapter. In this same area, you will also find the Gentian plant for the first time. The only thing you need from this plant is its seed, which I get here. While running around the creek, make sure you run into this weird monkey or baboon that is near a statue head. He is in most chapters, and after he runs away from you, interact with the statue head he is always next to. For this chapter, interacting with the head will get you a Skanda of Form item. This is not an item you can use right now and actually for the entire game, but you will be needing it towards the end of the playthrough. As you run around the creek, you will run into a Jade Lotus plant for the first time in the water. For this plant, you'll want to be on the lookout for the Jade Lotus Seed, which I get here, and also the Tender Jade Lotus Soak, which ironically was the last soak I ended up needing for the trophy, which I get here. Just don't mind the trophy icon. After exploring this little area thoroughly, it's time for our first boss fight of the chapter, the Bull Guard. Even with your starting stats and gear, you'll find he's quite the pushover. But more importantly though, the fight will stop halfway with a cutscene where Master Roshi here will gift us the Immobilize spell. This is our first spell of the game, and trust me, this shit is goated. When he's been taken care of, keep moving forward and you'll eventually find what's called a meditation spot on your right. These give you a few moments of serenity to find some peace of mind, and you'll also get a guaranteed extra skill point, or spark as this game calls them, during your first playthrough. At the next shrine, you'll get turned into a cicada, but I just turned immediately back into a monkey because it's kind of pointless. But at the opposite end of this forest area, you will find another boss named Guangxi. He is the first boss with an element you'll need to be wary of, his being fire. But after taking him out and watching him do a breakdance move, you can grab his weapon. This will turn into your first transformation spell called Red Tides. This type of spell will allow you to turn into that boss and use some moves of theirs for a limited time. Personally, I just ended up sticking with this one for the whole game, but that's because I don't like change. After getting the spell, make sure to ring the giant bell in the area. There's two more we'll want to ring while in this chapter, but we'll get to those later. Whenever you're ready to move on, you have to take on the next boss called the Wandering Wight. He's definitely going to be the hardest boss you'll come across, and you will die to him a few times more than likely. But after defeating him, you'll get the Cat Eyes Beads Curio, along with a purple flame thing floating near you. This is actually what's called a spirit, but you can't do anything with it right now, so just leave it be. After continuing on a ways, you'll come up against the next boss. Oh boy, okay. Ling Zushi. Maybe. Anyways, he may be the first Yaguai king you'll face, but honestly, the Wandering Wight was way harder in my opinion. Anyway, after defeating him, you'll get the Grey Wolf Mask armor piece, and you'll also be able to grab your first Celestial Pill in the building ahead. These pills will give you a permanent increase in either your health, mana, or stamina, depending on the pill, and there's one of each in each chapter. This one is for your health. Soon after getting the pill, you should see a little nook on your left as you progress. In this little cave, you'll find a horse homie. He will be a recurring character throughout the game. For now, talk to him and keep talking to him until he repeats his dialogue. In the same area, you'll find another meditation spot. Coming out of the cave into the narrowish pathway, you can find a monkey head fungus plant on the right for the first time. The seed from this plant, along with the snake head mushroom seed, will be gained from a boss way later in a later chapter. Shortly after activating the next shrine, you'll meet another NPC who I will be calling the Gourd Master. He will buff your gourd to allow it to absorb the spirits you've been seeing periodically. With this, you can properly absorb the green spirits you've been running into to get more will from them. They will also replenish your gourd by 1 or 2 uses as well, which will definitely come in clutch as you explore the chapters. But more importantly, the gourd can now absorb purple spirits like the one from the Wandering Wight. But don't worry, you don't have to run all the way back to get it. Just go to the shrine and you can retrieve the spirit there instead. Congratulations, you now have the best dance spirit in the game. After fighting off some skeletons, instead of following the main path, go into the water and follow that path instead, which will kind of be leading the opposite direction. It will lead you into the game's first frog boss, this one being Bali Gulang. Each chapter has one, and almost all of them have some kind of elemental trick to them. Except this one though, because he's smelly and stupid. But after beating it, make sure to absorb its spirit. From here, you can go in either direction you want, as you'll end up in a large field either way. After making your way through it, you'll encounter the next boss, Guang Mao. After defeating him and absorbing his spirit, make sure to ring the second bell that is in the arena. Go up the narrow hill, and on your left, you'll come across your first, Logia. Yeah, Logia. Fragrant Vine. These are used to upgrade the maximum amount of times you can drink from the gourd. And fortunately, we can use this pretty soon because after the shrine, we'll run into a fellow monkey in distress. Take out the enemy here, and the monkey will settle in the cavern next to you. You'll also get the Gao Gem Soak for doing so. This is Shen Monkey, and he will be your gourd related vendor for the game. Not only can you upgrade your gourd, but he also has a shop that will update with each chapter where he'll sell upgrade items, soaks, and even additional gourds. For this visit, I upgrade what I can and also buy the Celestial Lotus Seed Soak from him. With that taken care of, I decide to finally use all those sparks that I've been earning. As mentioned earlier, these are the game skill points and are used in the various skill trees to upgrade Monkey Boy. Upon using your first spark, you'll get the trophy, A Spark of Thought. You will probably have gotten this trophy before me, as I'm sure most people don't hoard skills points like my dumbass does. I did this now though because we'll be going up against a tougher boss for this chapter. The next boss is called the White Clad Noble, and he can be a tough one for first time players. What makes him particularly troublesome is that he's the first two-phase boss of the game. So definitely use those sparks wisely so that you can have the best chance against him. But after he's defeated, make sure you take the left path rather than the one going into the cave, where you will find the third and final bell to ring. Upon ringing it, you will be transported into the game's first secret area. Almost every chapter has a secret area to find, and they'll all be needed for the platinum. This chapter has taken you to the past, where you'll be going into the same temple area you fought Ling Zhuji. After activating the shrine, make sure you open up all the coffins nearby, as one of them will contain the Guanyin's Prayer Beads armor piece. Oh, and a little side note, the shrines in the secret areas have shop items that are actually separate from the items in the shrines in the main part of the chapter. So you can stock up on more crafting and survival items if you have the will for it. Anyways, make your way to the courtyard and you'll encounter the boss, Elder Jinshi. If you think he's just a glorified wandering wight, well, that's because he is. Except you're more prepared and geared up this time, so he shouldn't be too much more difficult than the original. As soon as you beat him, you'll get the terribly named trophy, Temple of Taint, for doing so. Additionally, after being transported back to the present, you will see a wolf hung up from a tree. Interact with it and you'll get your first vessel, the Fireproof Mantle. These vessels will provide specific buffs when activated and can have special effects on specific bosses as well. Hint, hint, hint. Back on the main path, make your way through the cave, but make sure to go on the wooden outlook on the left afterwards. You'll find another celestial pill here to increase your mana, as well as another meditation spot. After another cave and another shrine, you'll be greeted by the next boss, the Black Wind King. He likes to phase in and out during the fight, so be careful to dodge his attacks in this form. After the fight, Mushroom Face will grant you another spell, this one being Cloud Step, so that you too can phase in and out of existence. After he leaves, turn left and you'll see a glowing jar. Smashing it will give you an Awakening Wine Worm. This item will increase the efficacy of your gourd's healing, and these items will always be in these glowing jars. Also, in this boss area is the curio, a Gate Jar, so be sure to grab it in the little chest here. We'll be soon coming up to one of the more annoying areas of the game. The devs at Game Science kept the age-old tradition in Souls-likes to make archers the most annoying enemies possible right behind the dogs. There's a few that are perched in an area your regular jump can't get to, but there's a sort of hidden double jump that you can do by pressing triangle in the air. It'll trigger an aerial attack, but it gives you more height, which is the main point of doing it. Now in this area, you will find your first of what can be described as spirit enemies. These are regular enemies you found in the chapter, but they have like a glowish blue tint to them and have more health than the normal variants. This one is for the Wolf Assassin. After defeating it, you can absorb its spirit. The spirit enemies don't contain any special moves or special abilities, or at least not that any that I noticed. They just seem to have just more health and that's it. Right before climbing the hill to the final boss of the chapter, grab the celestial pill on your left to increase your stamina. At the top of the hill, rest at the shrine and make your preparations, for it's time to face Chapter 1's final boss. You'll be having a rematch against the Black Wind King, but this time he's transformed himself into the Black Bear Bly. At some point in the fight, he will activate his fire elemental attacks, and this is where it'll be a good idea to activate your fireproof mantle. It gives you burn immunity and increases your fire resistance. After finally defeating him, you'll get the trophy Blazing Black Wind. But before the chapter officially closes, you'll be treated to a special animated cutscene to enjoy. There's one after every chapter, and I recommend just taking it in and enjoying it for what it is. And with that, that'll cover the first chapter of the game. I hope that this helps new players looking to platinum the game, or returning players who want some guidance on things that they might be missing. Again, with the seeds, I'll cover the ones that are locked behind bosses in future videos. And for the others, just pick every plant that you see until you get what you're looking for. Same goes for the soaks as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in Chapter 2.